Welcome back to Fit Unfiltered. I'm so hot, Melissa. Okay, listeners, if you're listening to this, we have decided that we're going to start showing up looking nice and recording like quality podcast episodes that we can actually like maybe put on YouTube or like do cut downs from instead of showing up like we literally just crawled out of a hole after going to the gym. So I got up this morning. I washed my hair. I did my makeup. I put on like a nice outfit. And I'm in the process right now of...
Hold on. You put on a nice outfit. You have on a sports bra.
No.
A ribbed tank top. What's on the bottom half? Is it sweatpants?
It's leggings, but I put on a nice shirt. No, hold on. Let me just back up. I'm in the process of redoing my office. So like 2 weekends ago, I ripped everything out. I went to Home Depot. I bought paint. Joe was like, I have no time or effort to like try to resist you from doing this. So do whatever you want. So I'm in the process of redoing my office. It's not where I want it to be yet, but it's looking better. Like I've got a new nice little cupboard. The paint color is different. Now I need like decorations and wall art and things like that. So this morning when we decided to record a nice podcast episode and I got up and I like prepped myself and I like, all right, I look nice today. I get on and Melissa looks at me and she's like, what is going on with your lighting? Why does your office look like this?
No, we're going to back right up. That is absolutely not what happened. What actually happened was you came on and you had a look on your face. And you saw that, like, I had my camera set up and, like, my lights and, like, the light. Hold on, no. Let me finish. And, like, the lighting looked good for me. And you looked at me like this and you were like, should I get my lights? And I said, I don't know. I think so. Yeah. Like, why didn't you set that up? You knew that we were filming today and, like, doing it with the cameras and with the nice lights. And so you chose not to do it because you were hot and probably rushing.
No,
and then
I wasn't. No, I was not hot and I was not rushing and I was really happy. Here's the thing. I set up all of my, like my nice camera. I set up stuff when I was on Zoom. Then I came over to Riverside and we've already talked about how Riverside is like a bag of dicks with how the quality is with video. It's just not good. Okay. And then the other thing that happened is when I started signing on to Riverside, all of a sudden I hear beep, beep, beep. It's like this beeping noise because for whatever reason you need to have headphones in. So that started getting me irritated. Like the noise was just cutting right through me and I was feeling overstimulated. And then I saw my lighting didn't really look good on Riverside. And then I started getting hot. Like I had a nice chartreuse green sweater on like you have on, right? And that's when I started getting hot. And then I started getting hot. And that's when my eyebrows started being like, what is happening?
Okay.
And then I was just like, screw it. You know what? Just take 30 minutes. I'm going to go set up lights. I'm going to figure it out on Riverside. So here we are. And okay. I'm sorry I'm not dressed nice anymore, but I'm way too hot.
You are dressed. I mean, you look fine. I don't know. What do you want to wear? Like a collared blouse to podcast about fitness?
Kind of. A little bit. I don't know.
Right.
I felt like if we're getting dressed up, we're getting dressed up.
I mean, I feel like dressed up to me means I put makeup on and my hair looks nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I even went so far. Yeah, like I was like, okay, hold on a second, because I'm an hour behind you. So I was like, I have to get up way earlier and it's going to be so much like full wash my hair in the morning. So I washed my hair last night and then I woke up and I just like kind of redid it and then put makeup on. So I think that's probably the move. Don't do it day of because otherwise you just get hot and sticky and it's just too much in the morning.
Yeah, it was a lot also, but that's really sad because like we started trying to podcast record at 10 a.m. and the fact that like it's stressful to get ready to start podcasting at 10 a.m. is also a problem.
Yes, I think that we've gotten so used to our routines also. And then like you were like having an absolute conniption over which breakfast you should have this morning. I don't know what you've been doing because you're a whole hour ahead of me. So like,
are you kidding? Oh my gosh. No, that's okay. That's not even it. But yes, I was having a conniption over breakfast. Can I just tell you about my breakfast really quickly?
Yeah, because I didn't get to have any.
Oh, I told you go eat breakfast when I'm setting up my lights, and you're like, I'm not even hungry. I don't even eat this early. So I don't know what you've been doing, but guys, I've been on a Greek yogurt and granola kick, and you know what? God bless Bob and his Red Mill because he has some quality products. I've been trying a lot of Bob's Red Mill's granola, and I tried the toasted coconut one. Phenomenal. Highly recommend it with some like strawberries or raspberries, maybe like a little bit of additional flaked coconut. So good.
Okay.
Or then this weekend, I was like, I'm going to be super fun and I'm going to buy their lemon blueberry granola. So much fun. So this morning, I was like, I haven't opened the lemon blueberry granola yet. Maybe I'm going to have that for breakfast. So I made myself a little Greek yogurt parfait with some fresh blueberries, some lemon blueberry granola, and a little drizzle of honey over the top. It was fantastic. It was really good. But I was like, it's a deviation from my normal like eggs and avocado toast breakfast. I got nervous.
I mean, it sounds really good, but the way that you just described all of that sounds like you have entirely way too much time on your hands to think. And I also feel like this makes sense now, because I always wondered, like, how do these people have so much time to like make these elaborate breakfasts? Like, remember when we were working like a corporate job and like going in and be like, who has time to do this? Now I get it. Like,
What is elaborate about granola and Greek yogurt?
just like sitting there and being like, oh, should I have my lemon blueberry granola with this fruit pairing and then drizzle some honey over, or should I have this granola with this fruit pairing? And it's just like, just fucking eat the yogurt. Tested two different like text groups that I'm in this morning, trying to get people's opinion on which breakfast to have.
I was so nervous deviating from avocado toast and an egg. I was just like, I'm such a creature of habit. I was like, oh my God, is this actually the right move? But you're right. That is really sad that that's like the topic of, that's my biggest concern right now.
Why
I'm
are you so
hot.
hot? Why are you fanning yourself?
I feel like crap. I don't know. The back of my neck is hot. I'm sweating. It's so humid here in New York. It's so humid.
I don't understand how your air conditioning is not taking care of that problem.
Because I had it turned up nice and like I like it kind of balmy in here during the day. I don't like it for it to be freezing. It's summertime. I want to feel like it's kind of like warm-ish. So I had it on a warm setting, and then I got really hot and flustered with the light. And I think
maybe we don't.
The light is hot on me right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And behind me.
Maybe we don't do balmy summer inside the house on filming podcast days.
Yeah. We're learning.
Yeah. Okay. Well, while you're in this kind of a mood, I thought that this would be a good episode today, and I think it's timely with the Olympics. I was reading an article, and someone interviewed 10 Olympians, and they all share like 5 healthy habits that they do every day, and I want you to guess what they are.
Okay. Just like five healthy habits to stay fit, 5 healthy habits just
Jessica,
for like
don't ask
general?
questions. It says, I interviewed 10 Olympians, and here are 5 healthy habits that they do every day.
Okay, so
what are they?
Do you want me to just kind of like start guessing, and then you're going to tell me if I get them, or do you want me to like tell you all 5 healthy habits?
No, well, just start guessing, and I'll tell you if you get one.
Okay, they drink water. They're hydrated.
So I'll let you get that one. But I'll explain after why it's not necessarily one of them.
Okay. What do you mean? You'll let me get it, but
I'll explain after.
Okay, so they're hydrated, they drink water.
Yes.
Or they replenish their lost sweat with electrolytes, maybe?
No.
Okay. All right, well, they're hydrated. Okay. They recover or they rest properly. They get like 6 to 8 hours of sleep, 8 to 10 hours of sleep.
Yep. Recovery.
Yep. Okay, recovery. They eat nutrient-dense foods. Wholesome foods, fruits, veggies, whole grains, that type of thing. They prioritize protein.
Yes.
Okay, so 4 out of the 5?
Yes, and like one of them you kind of double said. Like, yes. I think that you pretty much got it, but the way that the article is written is kind of, like, it's kind of silly, and I actually want to talk about it because I'm like, this is something, and it's like a pretty big site that did this interview, and I was like, a lot of people would look at this and be like, oh, this is what they did, it's exactly what I should do. So number one, I think, like, I'll go through the habits and like explain what they are. It's funny because the 5 habits are like very basic and very simple things. So
Mhm.
I do love that like even people at that level, at an Olympic athlete level, are doing the most basic things to like stay healthy. But then there's like some things, the way it's written is just like absurd. So, okay, the very first thing, oh no, you did miss one of them. You
You
did
only
miss
let me
one.
guess 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. Guess the 5th one.
Healthy habits? Is it like mindset related? Is it like meditation or deep breathing
No.
or
Mm-mm.
something like that? Stretching,
No.
foam rolling?
No.
Is it food related or
No.
fitness related?
More routine related.
They have set and they have a schedule that they follow.
Okay, you're getting closer.
Um they have a schedule that they follow. They have set like wake and go bedtimes.
Pretty much, yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So the first one is elite athletes are morning people.
Hmm.
So, and like they're saying that, they get up around like 5 o'clock in the morning to go like start, their day. Um, and saying that an early start means that they have ample time for like multiple practice and training sessions. And I
Hmm.
think like that can obviously be applied to like the earlier that you get up, like the more time you're making to get all the things done in your day that you need to get done, right?
Right.
So I think that's a totally fine one. um the second one is oatmeal is the breakfast of champions. So I know, so they're saying that like oatmeal is like one of the best foods that you can have for breakfast, which I think we should definitely talk about. But like the one athlete that they interviewed, she's like, it keeps me full, but not too full. And it's packed with fiber and prebiotics, and it's beneficial for gut health.
Hmm.
So they're saying like that's number 2.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about that, or do you want me to go through the whole
Go
list?
through the list and then we'll come
Okay.
back and like circle back with everything.
Okay. Now, the one where like you kind of got it is they have satisfying snacks that keep them energized. Okay, so now, but like this is where it starts to get weird because like they looped in hydration to this part, and they're saying that hydration is also essential.
Okay.
Um, Obviously, like we know that hydration is essential, but going back to the snacks, which is this is wild to me, is they're saying I like dried fruits a lot, especially dried mangoes as well as peanuts and almonds.
Okay.
And then the article says fruit and nuts seem to be the most popular snack among athletes, and pairing the two makes for a fiber and protein packed combo
Mm.
to help you stay satisfied and energized.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll come back to that one.
Okay.
Recovery is key, so they prioritize like stretching, post training. They say that walking is like one of the best things that they do after they are done competing.
Okay.
And then also making sure that sleep is a priority. And then they make sure that they have high protein meals.
Okay. So I feel like we've gotten most of these, and these all make sense. And in reality, they're kind of in line with everything that we do in our daily life. Not that we're Olympic athletes,
Could
Olympians.
be.
Even though I just feel like I saw a meme the other day, and it was like, I wish that they would have like a regular human go perform the activity and then like have the Olympic athlete come in
Yes.
and perform the activity, because like, you're just sitting there with like your bag of Cheetos, like with Cheeto dust on, like
Yeah.
your chest being like, oh, that dive sucked.
I was watching the gymnastics last night, the highlights, and like she did like a backflip like to try to get onto the ballast beam, and she missed it and fell. I'm like, you fucking idiot.
How could you not stick that landing? Like, so it's just like things like that. Just funny side. So we are not Olympic athletes, even though I feel like sometimes I'm watching, like, I could outswim her.
Definitely.
But going back to the first one, so let's recap the very first one.
So elite athletes are morning people. They wake up around 5 a.m. to like make time to get all of their training sessions in, practices, etc.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of common sense, right? Especially if you are someone who you do have a little bit of a longer training routine, or if you're someone who maybe like you're trying to get in cardio and strength training, or you don't have time throughout the rest of your day to get in steps or go for a walk. So maybe you do need to get up earlier and make sure that you do give yourself adequate time to get in all of the things that you need to do to be able to move your body throughout the day, right? Like, obviously, you're not an Olympic athlete. Obviously, you don't need to dedicate 4 or 5 hours to training, but maybe you do need a little bit of time to like prepare some food for the rest of your day in the morning. If you can't do the night before, maybe you do need to go for your walk. Maybe you do need to get in a morning workout because you never like to do it when you get home. So I think that that's a really good opportunity to check in with yourself and see would getting up earlier help me be more successful in doing the things that I need to do? And if so, maybe it doesn't have to be like an all or nothing thing, like where every single morning you have to get up at 5 a.m., but maybe you start with like 2 days a week and see how that feels. And then you add in a third day once it starts to become more routine.
Yeah, I think it's something that you can control, right? And so like a lot of people are like, well, I don't have time. And like we know once the day starts, like there is no time. If even if
Done.
you're like, well, I'm gonna go to the gym this afternoon, by the time the
No.
afternoon comes around, like there's so much work that you're just like, oh God, it's just easier just to stay here, get my work done. I'll do it tomorrow, and you keep pushing it off. So I think like even if it's 20 minutes earlier in your morning, whatever that is for you, doesn't have to be 5 a.m. Right? But
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is, like try to stick to a consistent time that you're waking up, and maybe it is 20-30 minutes earlier to allow time to go for a walk, to go get a quick workout, and to, like you said, like to like pack your lunch for the day so that you're not leaving that to chance. So like those are the little things you can control. So I do love that one. And I think if you are not a morning person, something that you can do is, instead of trying to go from, like, let's say you wake up at 7 o'clock every morning, instead of trying to go from 7 to like 5 a.m., try waking up in like earlier in like 15-minute increments. So
Yeah.
try setting your alarm for 6:45 and getting up. And then once like that becomes your new normal, then try to get up at 6:30 and then 6:15, and then 6, and kind of like work your way backwards until like you allow your body and your really like your routine enough time to adjust and be like, okay, this feels normal to me. This is part of what I do now.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. So the second one is oatmeal is the breakfast of champions.
Okay. Well, I mean, I definitely see the benefits in oatmeal, right? For all of the things that she said, it's really great because it does have a lot of like great nutrients like fiber and vitamins and different minerals, and that's great. Um, it is a more complex carbohydrate. So that means that it's going to digest slower. It's going to release energy slower over time, right? It's not like one of those high glycemic index types of carbs where, like, I don't know, the only thing that come to mind right now is like Skittles, right? Like where you eat it and your blood sugar like immediately spikes because it's all just like straight sugar. So being a complex carb or a low glycemic index carb, it's going to release energy a lot slower, which is good because that's going to help to keep your energy levels like more stable throughout your workout. Um, the only thing that I would say with this is that, well, two things. Number one, if you are having just like a straight carb source, and a carb source is really important before you go work out, right? Like your body's main source of energy is carbs. So that makes sense to have oatmeal before you go work out. But one thing that I do think might be missing from oatmeal being like the breakfast of champions is a protein source as well, right? So by pairing a protein source, number one, you're giving your body additional fuel to go into your strength training workout. But the second thing that you're doing is you're preventing like a really high blood sugar spike from just giving your body this like bolus of carbs, essentially. So that's something that I think like I understand what they're saying and like why it's helpful.
Yeah.
The other thing with oatmeal, because it is a complex carb, it's going to take your body longer to digest and to pull energy from. We said it's a slow releasing type of a carb. So you're going to need to eat it with enough time before your training to let your body digest and process it and start to use those carbs for energy. So if you have a good like hour to 45 minutes before your training to eat oatmeal and then let it digest, that could be a really good carb source for you. That could be a really good breakfast for you. Is it the only breakfast of champions? No.
Yeah, I agree. I love everything that you said. I think the one thing that we can add to this is, and this is kind of like the problem with a lot of articles like this, is people who aren't educated in, you know, nutrition and fitness, they just kind of look at this and they're like, oh, okay, so I should have oatmeal every day if I want to be healthy.
Yeah.
If you are, there's, and like, if we're talking about this in the sense of like weight loss, right, and kind of like getting fit and getting in shape, so if you are looking at this and being like, well, I should just have oatmeal every day, just want to like point out, oatmeal does have a lot of calories. It is very calorie dense. So and this is kind of like in the whole thing of like, oh, well, I eat clean, I eat clean, I eat clean, but you're not tracking how many calories you're actually eating. You can very easily overeat things like oatmeal and like all these clean foods. So just make sure you're mindful of the portion size you're having of this. And I think, like you said, it is probably best to pair oatmeal in the morning with a protein source so that you have a nice balanced breakfast.
Right. And just to be clear, guys, like peanut butter, almond butter, things like that, that's not a protein source. That's a fat
Right.
source.
And well, let's get to that, because that is the next one, is their satisfying snacks. First of all, okay, do you think that dried fruit and nuts are a satisfying snack? Is that going to make you like feel full?
You know what? If I could eat dried fruit and nuts as a snack every single day, I would love to. I would truly love to. However, the amount of dried fruit and nuts that I would need to eat to be satisfied from a snack would probably bring me to like 700 calories just as a snack,
Right.
right?
That's what, yeah.
Okay. So, here's my thoughts on this. Okay, let me just try to like collect my thoughts for a second. So, dried fruit. And like again, we're talking about this in terms of Olympic athletes. Here's why these types of articles aren't necessarily helpful, because we're reading this as non-Olympic athletes, right? We're reading this as people who go to the gym and we train for like 30 to 45 minutes. Maybe we get, 6 to 10,000 steps a day. And if you're like really ambitious, maybe you're doing, a couple of cardio sessions a week. You're not training for like 4 to 6 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. So the amount of fuel that your body needs to survive is going to be way less than that of an Olympic athlete, right? So if you're reading this and going, oh, wow, Olympic athletes, they're like so fit, they're so in shape, they're so healthy, they eat dried fruit and nuts as a snack. Well, it makes sense why they're able to eat dried fruit and nuts as a snack, because their bodies probably need 3,000, 4,000, maybe more calories a day to support the type of training that they're doing in order to get to where they need to, the level that they need to be, right? Now, are dried fruits a great snack? Well, from a nutrition perspective, if there's not a ton of added sugar to it, then yeah, like if you're air drying like apples and like they have like those drying machines, fine, that's great. But we have to remember that a lot of dried fruits, they do have a lot of added sugar. If you are someone who needs a quick carb boost, like a runner who's running very long distance or someone who's training a lot, and you do need quick carb sources for your body to pull energy from, then yes, having dried fruit can be a really great idea because it's going to give your body a very quick carb boost. But the problem is that if you're a normal person, having dried fruit, like you have a little bit of dried fruit for a lot of calories, right? It's like one of those low volume, high calorie types of foods. So most people, when they eat dried fruits, you're not just going to like stop at the serving size. It's probably not going to make you feel full or satiated. Right.
Right.
So that's the problem with dried fruit, in my opinion.
Okay. Would you, I mean, the same thing kind of goes for nuts, is like the amount that you would eat, like relative to the amount of calories, right? Like, I mean, you're probably not going to get very full from having nuts. Like, sure, like they're good for you, right? Like it's kind of healthy fats and everything. Again, this is kind of what I was saying back to the oatmeal thing, is like, this stuff is like good for you. It's healthy. That's great, healthy habits to incorporate things like that. But don't take it as, well, just because Olympic athletes are having this, I can have it kind of unlimited.
Yeah.
Right. I can have unlimited amounts of dried fruit and nuts because it's good for me, but that still has calories. So just be
Yeah.
mindful of the difference between I'm eating healthy, but like I'm gaining weight, or like I'm eating healthy, but like I'm tracking it to make sure that it's staying within my calories.
Yeah. And just like the whole that drives me nuts when a lot of these like health and fitness magazines they talk about nuts being a good source of
I
protein.
know.
Like if we're talking about a plant-based protein, okay, fine. But more than anything else, nuts are a fat source, right? We've been kind of like conditioned to believe that nuts or peanut butter, things like that's really good for protein. No, it's really not that good for protein. If you think about how many nuts you have to eat, I think like a typical ounce, right, of almonds, around like 20 almonds or so, which in all fairness, like eating 20 almonds, that's not a snack. Like I think I read somewhere like 20 almonds is not a snack. It's enough to piss me off. It makes me just want more almonds. And it's true because they're delicious, but like only 20 almonds is not going to fill you up. If you eat 20 almonds, like great, you're getting 6 grams of protein, but you're also getting like, 170 to 200 calories. Is it worth it to have 200 calories of 20 almonds where you could have 200 calories of like my Greek yogurt bowl with granola and honey and fruit and feel a lot more full, feel a lot more satiated?
You just want any chance to talk about your yogurt bowl, don't you?
It's
It's gonna
so great.
fit that in
You
everywhere.
want to know the
They should
funny part?
honestly, I'm gonna tell this magazine to reach out to you and interview you on your yogurt bowl.
Do you know what the funny part is? I
What?
guarantee by the start of next week, you are going to have Bob's Red Mill lemon blueberry yogurt in your pantry.
I actually have that one in my pantry, and I don't really like it.
That's
I'm
rude.
not that kind of a person that likes lemon. Like I like lemon, but lemon granola is kind of like, I don't know. I'm
Have you
more,
had it with a yogurt bowl and blueberries yet?
yes, I am more of a fruit, semi-sweet chocolate chips, sliced almonds person in my yogurt bowl. But I
Okay.
think we can do a whole nother episode on just yogurt bowls if you want.
Sure, we could do that.
Okay.
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 Moving on.
Well, hold on a second, because
Oh,
like I said, so they somehow decided that hydration should fall under the satisfying snacks, right? Which is bizarre to me. I feel like that should be a whole nother
yeah.
habit, right? Like
Yeah.
this should really be six. Um, but they're saying hydration is also essential to these athletes. Um, and one athlete is saying, and I'm curious, I want your thoughts on this, because I know a lot of like our clients will ask this question. But
hmm
one athlete says that she likes to sip on something with more pizzazz. So she has sparkling water and seltzer to keep her hydrated.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I get it. I do the same thing. I feel like if you're gonna have to choose between if you're trying to get in more water, number one, just like drink the fucking water. Like just drink the water. Number two, if you're having to choose between like drinking 3 diet sodas a day or drinking sparkling water, I would prefer you not have the 3 diet sodas and maybe have the sparkling water if you need like more pizzazz. I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to get hydrated from sparkling water. Like it's still water. Fine. But we have to remember like there's a lot of carbonation in sparkling water. What is carbonation and what does it do? So for a lot of us, it can make us feel more full, which could be like a good thing, right? If you are trying to lose weight and you need to like make yourself feel a little bit more full. But for some of us, if your body can't handle that much carbonation, it can also make you feel really distended. It can make you feel bloated. So I would say like have this in moderation. Don't make it your primary hydration source. Make like true straight water your primary hydration source, and then like supplement in with a couple of different sparkling waters. Or if you really need like some pizzazz, throw some lemon in it, throw some lime in it, like a piece of grapefruit or watermelon or things like cucumber to make your water exciting. But at the end of the day, like your body needs water. How can you go out on the weekend and crush like 15 beers or 15, Trulies, but you can't drink 15 glasses of water throughout the day?
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, just, I think, like you said, just drink the effing water.
Yeah.
Again, again, like this is just saying, be mindful of these articles that kind of speak in absolutes of like, these are the best
Yeah.
habits to have. And then they're saying just like to drink, sparkling water for hydration, like primarily drink water, but yes, like it is okay to have sparkling water.
Yep.
Okay. Last two. So the fourth one is recovery is key. So let me see something here. Okay. So one athlete starts her post-training playlist as she walks off the track, and then she will start to walk.
Mm-hmm.
And then another athlete says that she swears by brisk walks outside and a good night's sleep.
Okay.
So I love that they're talking about like one of the best things that they do for recovery is walking,
Yep.
because I think that like a lot of people look at walking as like, well, it's not really doing anything, it's not really helping me. It's not like helping anything for, like my weight loss or like me getting in shape. Like I can be doing way more advanced or like difficult things to get me in shape faster. But the fact that like they are prioritizing walking as a form of recovery speaks
Yeah.
volumes. And I think just in general, like walking is great for your health. It's great for recovery. And also like getting a good night's sleep and prioritizing that type of rest and making sure that like you are properly rested and you're not just like beating yourself into the ground, not getting any sleep and then going through the day. I think that this is a great habit that they've highlighted here.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think that that's one of the things that people tend to overlook. Like, it's kind of, I mean, maybe not speaking for everyone, but it was kind of drilled into my mind. Like, the more days that you can train, the better. Like, team no days off, that type of thing. Like, you're weak if you miss a day in the gym. But the reality is that you can overtrain. And we even have clients who have been in a place where they've come to us working out, 5, 6, 7 days a week, but the volume and the intensity of their training, it's actually putting your body in a place where it's so stressed that it's not able to recover properly. And if it's not able to recover properly, your muscles are not going to grow. Your body is going to deprioritize fat loss. Your energy is going to feel like shit. You're not going to, you're going to be exhausted all the time. You're probably not going to sleep well. Your body's not going to digest food. There's so many things that happen if you are not properly recovering. And so I do think that's like great advice, right? Any type of like light activity, walking is a great one because it's like probably by far the easiest thing to do, or even things like, swimming or yoga or like light stretching, things like that, just to get, your blood circulating, to try to get your muscles moving, trying to work out all the kinks and like the stiffness after a lot of heavy workouts, things like that. I think that's super important. I think the other thing that a lot of people don't talk about is the athlete that says that she puts on like her recovery playlist when she's walking off the track. Is that what she
Yeah.
said? So
Yes.
when we think about recovery from a training perspective, a lot of times we start thinking about like, what does recovery look like physically? So like we're talking about walk, stretch, foam roll, get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, make sure you're, giving your body quality food sources to help it repair and replenish itself. But one of the biggest things that I think as a whole in this industry tend to overlook is like mental health recovery as well, right? So sleeping is not only going to help restore your physical body, your muscles, your joints, all of that, but it's also going to help support your mental recovery as well. And one of the things that I find really peaceful, and it sounds like that this athlete, she uses, well, she has a recovery type of a playlist. Sometimes listening to calming music, or like calming frequencies, right? Like on the Calm app or even on Spotify, if you search like, there's like different hertz
Hurts. Yes.
sound waves that do support, like regulating your central nervous system, calming down like your brainwave activity, moving into more like deep breathing exercises or breath work exercises or meditative states, things like that. It's all going to help bring your heart rate down. It's going to help slow down your brain waves. This is going to help reduce a lot of anxiety. It's going to help bring your body, out of that fight or flight mode into that rest, digest, I'm calm, I'm at peace type of a thing. And that is so important for the long-term sustainability of your your plan, right? If you're like hitting it hard, you're starving yourself, you're working your ass into the ground 7 days a week, you're only going to be able to do that for a small period of time. It's not something you're going to be able to sustain forever. So the more that you can make this sustainable by giving yourself adequate recovery days, the longer you're going to be able to do this and make it a lifestyle.
Yeah, I love that. Something that they also mention at this part too is like a self-care routine,
Yeah.
and like even spending time with their pets, reading a book, just like decompressing, which I think is like what you're talking about. I think again, like the fitness culture, like you said, is like team no days off, like keep going, 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 push yourself, like you need to do more, more, more. But the fact that you have athletes at an Olympic level again who prioritize self-care, who prioritize rest and recovery, like again speaks volumes to like you should be doing that as well in your
Yeah,
day to day.
for sure.
Okay, last one, and I think this is the most obvious, is they have high protein meals. So do you want to talk about why high, like having a lot of protein in your diet, especially for women, is important?
Yeah, obviously. There's a number of reasons that protein is so important. And if you're someone who's listening to this and you're like, well, I don't I feel like I eat a lot of protein, but you're not exactly sure how much protein you should be eating. One rule that we like to use um, is looking at anywhere between like zero point 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, right? So like if I weigh 160 pounds, if I'm doing, zero point 0.7 times 160, I don't really know what that is. I think it's like 115, 120. Up until like 160 grams of protein. So being somewhere within that range, like 110 to 150 grams of protein for most women is, I think, pretty standard. If you're someone who is not eating at least 100 grams of protein today, I would start to work your way up to at least the 100-gram mark and make that something that's pretty consistent. But outside of that, I mean, protein is literally like one of the biggest building blocks for your entire body, right? Protein's made up of different types of amino acids that help your body to grow and repair, like especially with strength training, right? And that's something that your muscles really need after exercise, is to be able to be repaired and in order to grow. So protein is going to help your body, your muscles specifically, repair and grow. It's also going to help with keeping you fuller for longer. Okay. So when we're talking about protein, it actually takes your body more energy to digest protein than it does to digest like carbs or fat sources, right? So that's why every time like you eat a carb source, we're always like, hey, pair it with a protein, because it's going to actually take your body longer to digest. So it's going to help keep you fuller longer. So especially if you're trying to like manage your weight or lean down, protein's going to help with that by keeping you feeling a little bit more satiated. I'm trying to think if there's, anything else that's really like important when it comes to it. But if you really just think about protein, right? Like they're what makes up every single cell in your body, besides like your muscles and your tissues and things like that, your skin, your hair, your nails, your internal organs. Like they're so important for so many areas of your body to stay like healthy and to stay supported. So yeah, protein's like easily one of
Yeah.
the top things that you should be incorporating.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, like looking at this article, I think that there are some things that could like have been contextualized a little bit better. There's some things that they, nuts are not a protein source. But when you're looking at, these habits, like these healthy habits of Olympic level athletes, it's
Mhm.
they have a routine, they're eating healthy foods, they have, healthy snacks, they are hydrated, they're resting and recovering, and they're eating protein. And
Yep.
I think, we are not Olympic athletes, and I say we as like a general like society, but we try to overcomplicate all the things we have to do to try to like get healthy and get in shape and get fit and lose weight and all this, when like this is the basic. Like these are the basic things that you just need to do every day. So, if anything, like take these five things and try to apply it to what you're doing, right? Like if you don't have a good routine, like try to figure out what that is. Get some consistency in your life. Start drinking more water, start making, good food choices, prioritize wholesome, nutritious foods. Also, you probably track them if you don't know how many calories you're having, because you can't easily overeat clean, healthy foods, right? Make sure you have a good rest and recovery routine down, like go for your walks. Make sure you have a good nighttime routine where you're actually winding down and you're not on your phone until super late at night and then falling asleep from there. Okay. And then make sure that you are getting protein in with every meal too.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great bunch of great tips. And I think that, these are all things that if you can implement more routinely into your day, and this is the thing, it can feel like it's such a laundry list of things to do, right? So if you were going to give advice to someone who's like brand new, they're listening to this, like, this sounds great, but you're asking me to wake up early and work out. You're asking me to prioritize protein and have healthy snacks and drink water and recover and do all of these things, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. What would be your advice to someone that's like, this all sounds great, Melissa, but where the hell do I start?
I mean, it's hard to I would say pick one. Like pick one from the list, because for me, depending on the week, I might pick, you know, going for a walk. Like going for walks feels easiest for me right now to go get something like healthy done. For other people, it might be like, I'm going to sit down and figure out what my routine is. For other people, it might be, okay, I'm just going to start adding more protein to my meals, right? So I think just pick one, get really, really, really good at that. And once you're very good at that, now you can add in a second one and do that consistently, and then add in the third one, right? And then all of a sudden it all comes together. And now, before you know it, without even realizing, you've built this like foundation of healthy habits that it's just part of who you are, as part of what you do now. And you're not looking at, waking up and getting a workout in and going for walks and, getting like restful sleep and eating protein and eating healthy. You don't look at that as punishment. You're looking at that as, this is what I do because it makes me feel good.